Hey, this is Justin Richmond, host of the Broken Record podcast. Join me along with co-host Leah Rose as we sit down with the artists you love to get unparalleled creative insight. You'll hear revealing interviews with some of the most legendary figures in music, like Paul Simon, Usher, Pete Townsend, Damon Albarn of the Gorillaz, and Missy Elliott. And you'll hear from up-and-comers like jazz artist Leve, who told me about her fast rise to fame during the pandemic. Listen to Broken Record on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Scott Barry Kaufman, host of the Psychology Podcast. I'm a cognitive scientist, and I've written 10 books and hundreds of articles on topics such as intelligence, introversion, and education. The Psychology Podcast is a place where we investigate the different ways in which we can unlock human potential, and where I get to interview some of the most extraordinary and fascinating people, and we have real conversations about what it means to achieve success and what it means to be human. Listen to the Psychology Podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey there, I'm Maya Shankar, and I'm a scientist who studies human behavior. Many of us have experienced a moment in our lives that changes everything, a moment that instantly divides our life into a before and an after. On my podcast, A Slight Change of Plans, I talk to people about how they've navigated exactly these moments. Because as we all know, the only constant is change. So let's make the most of it. Listen to A Slight Change of Plans on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's time
to catch a cheater.
Only on the Jubal Show.
If you want to win the Jubal Show's trip to the Caribbean, you got to listen at 8:10. Paul is on the phone today for To Catch a Cheater. He's been with his girlfriend Leslie for 3 years, but now he thinks something's going on, so we're going to see if we can help him out and try to catch her in a second if she is. Hopefully she isn't, but Paul, tell us what's going on, man.
Yeah, I've been with my girlfriend Leslie now for 3 years, and overall things have been great. It's been a nice 3 years. Leslie actually moved up here from a small town, you know, one of those really small towns out in the middle of nowhere.
They're scary to me, but yes.
Yeah, you know, to be honest, the same for me. It's a little odd going back because we visit often to her family, and every time we go back there, I just feel like it's going to another country or another planet or something.
Well, that's kind of nice. You really get to escape.
Yeah. And it's not really a big deal to visit often. I know, like I said, it's like another planet over there. But, you know, my relationship with my family's, you know, at best strained. So, you know, I've never had a problem going back with her as frequently as we do. But unfortunately, this year, I'm not able to go back and visit with her on her mom's birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really swamped at work, and you know, it wasn't really a huge deal, but that's kind of where, in regards to this trip and me not going with her, is kind of where suspicion started creeping in.
Okay.
Was she upset that you couldn't go with her?
Well, see, that's the thing. It actually didn't seem like she was upset that I wasn't going with her.
Mm.
And, you know, recently, you know, I feel like she's been kind of pushing me away. You know, I feel like, you know, she's been getting, you know, a little bit more distant from me. We've been getting into more arguments. And, you know, one thing I've noticed and the thing that I'm worried about is this guy, Joel.
Who's Joel?
Well, Joel is it's her ex from, you know, like her kind of high school sweetheart kind of guy, you know, still lives in that small town where she came from. And I've noticed that her and Joel have been texting a lot more, you know, recently.
So they'd always been texting? You said a lot more. So they've always been in touch?
Yeah. They, you know, to be honest, I'm not one of those guys that's like has a huge issue with somebody having a friendship with an ex or you know, having that relationship ongoing. I've met Joel, you know, when we've gone to, you know, to visit, you know, I've met the guy, you know, he seems like a decent person and everything. But honestly, it has always just kind of been, or at least in my perception, like sporadic communication. And, you know, now it seems like it's getting to be a lot more frequent. Like I noticed that, you know, I'll notice her phone will light up, you know, a lot, and I'll see, you know, his name, you know, pop up, you know, like it does on the phone. Mm-hmm. And I noticed it's more and more. And, you know, I even asked her about it, and, you know, she's gotten a little bit defensive, like about me, like checking on her, or why am I looking at her phone, and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Honestly, like, to put two and two together, I noticed that it's really been since I told her that I wasn't going, that I wasn't going to be able to make it to the trip, and I told her mom I wasn't going to be able to make it, that, the communication frequency, stepped up, and they started talking more. And like I said, I didn't really feel like she was particularly upset that I wasn't going to be able to make it. And I did. I asked her about it, and like I said, she got defensive, and she also said, oh no, just we were planning on meeting up with mutual friends, or we're just making, some friend plans and old friends and getting together while I'm in town, or while she's in town rather. And I don't recall any friend group or mutual friends. I've never hung out with her and her mutual friends in her small town. So, honestly, I really don't know what's going on here.
So you think maybe she's planning something with him for when she's there, but you're not there?
Exactly. Yeah, so I thought maybe you guys could call her from, just say you're our credit card company, and say she won a free travel ticket and a free companion, and just ask her who she would pick to be that companion.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea. All right, we'll play a song, come back, and then call her, and hopefully she gives us your name and not somebody else's. But we'll play a song, come back, and get your To Catch a Cheater next.
It's a Wonderful Life is one of the most popular movies ever, but it has more to offer you than you ever thought.
You know how long it takes a working man to save $5,000?
In this world where there's a lot of hopelessness, people need this movie.
George Bailey was never born. Join the many partaking in this one-of-a-kind podcast experience. Listen to all 10 episodes available now on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. SaveGeorgeBailey.com. Subscribe now.
Hey there. I'm Maya Shankar, and I'm a scientist who studies human behavior. Many of us have experienced a moment in our lives that changes everything. A moment that instantly divides our life into a before and an after. On my podcast, A Slight Change of Plans, I talk to people about how they've navigated exactly these moments.
Something died in me that day. It never came back. I'm so grateful that something new did emerge. A new me emerged. A new me was born.
I also talk to experts on the science of change about how we can live happier, healthier lives.
These momentary experiences of awe, they tend to, through their challenges to your belief system, help us be more resilient.
Because as we all know, the only constant is change. So let's make the most of it. Listen to A Slight Change of Plans on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Jacob Goldstein. I used to host a show called Planet Money. Now I'm starting a new show. It's called What's Your Problem? Every week on What's Your Problem, entrepreneurs and engineers describe the future they're going to build once they solve a few problems. How do you build a drone delivery business from scratch?
Our customers, they want us to do this unbelievably reliably, in the storms, no matter what, and hundreds of times a day.
How do you turn a wild dream about a new kind of biology into a $10 billion company?
We didn't have a particular technology. We didn't have a way of making money. It was a great way to start a company. I highly recommend
What could go wrong? How do you sell millions of dollars worth of dog ramps for wiener dogs in the middle of a pandemic?
We're working with 400 influencers, and the majority of them are actually not a person, but it's actually a dog.
I can tell you right now, the dog ramp guy has some very interesting problems. Listen to What's Your Problem on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's time
to catch a cheater.
only on the Jubal Show.
Right in the middle of To Catch a Cheater, if you're just joining us, Paul is on the phone, and he thinks that his girlfriend of 3 years named Leslie might be cheating. So in a second, we're about to call her and see if we can catch her. But first, Paul, why don't you refresh everybody's memory on your situation?
We've been together 3 years. I'm worried she's getting back with or in a relationship with her ex-boyfriend from high school. And I was hoping you guys could just pretend to be the credit card company and say she won a free flight and see who she picks.
Okay.
And she's going back home to visit her mom, and I'm not going. And I'm worried that she's been really texting this guy and planning on seeing him when I'm not there.
Okay. Are you ready for us to call her?
Yeah.
All right, man. Here we go.
Hello?
Hi, this is Gorbel calling from... I was looking for our card holder, Leslie.
This is she. Is everything okay?
I'm actually calling you with some good news. Congratulations for being a card holder with us and racking up so many points and miles in travel. You've won a voucher for $600 in free travel for yourself and a companion.
Oh my God. Wow. This is so cool. Thank you. So what do I do?
Well, it's simple. Your voucher will go automatically into your account online. So the only thing that I would need would be the name of the companion that you would take with you. Now, I can give you some time to obviously think about that, but unfortunately, they ask that we give them that information ahead of time,
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Okay, great. Just the first and last name would be awesome.
Yeah. Can you make it to Joel?
Yes, I can get that notated on there. Would you like us to send an email to this person so that you can also give them the good news with like a little bit of an e-card type situation?
Yeah, maybe just say that things keep getting better and after this trip we can go back and have the talk.
I'll just read it back to you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It says, your boyfriend of 3 years, Paul, is on the phone right now listening to this and probably wants to know why you got the companion ticket for Joel and are sending Joel that message.
Wait, what?
Did I get that right?
Yes.
Paul? Wait, Paul's on?
Yep.
What is going
I'm
on?
here. Yes.
Leslie, this is the Jubal Show. It's a radio show.
Hi.
And we do a segment where we catch people cheating. And Paul thought you might be up to something.
He was right.
It seems I'm right.
Oh my God.
Are you going to explain yourself?
Wow. Okay. Well, I was definitely not prepared to have this conversation at this moment, but I guess this is where we're at. Hi, Paul.
Hi. Yeah. Are you going to explain what's going on?
Yeah. It's true. I've been talking to my ex, Joel. You know Joel.
Yeah, well, I know that part. I know you've been talking. I've talked to you about how you've been talking. But what's going on?
Okay, so we've been talking, about our past and the relationship and how it just never really had any real finality or ending. And, and then the conversation just kind of went into how there's still some feelings there that we have, even though, we broke up, obviously. And that, what we've been wanting in our life is really the same thing, which is to be in that town, in our town together and have the same future there. And I feel like an absolutely horrible person right now, but Paul, I'm in love with Joel, and I've fallen back in love with him this past month. And I really think we want to try and make it work this time. And so I guess my thought process was I wanted to give that ticket to Joel so that he could come here to us and we could all talk about it and he could help me move my things back home.
Are you serious? I honestly can't believe it. You think you were to fly him with a free companion ticket to our house so that I would sit down with him and shake his hand, wish you well? I mean, I can't, honestly, I love you and we've been together 3 years, but it's really the sneaking around that bothers me the most, that I got to do a whole setup to catch you. Like I confronted you about you texting him and you talking to him. And obviously I knew something was up and you could sense something was up. And we've been kind of, at odds and the tension has been high. Why couldn't you just talk to me? Why does it have to come out like this? This is ridiculous. And also, you for doing this around your mom's birthday. For real, honestly, this is a devastating thing. And I love your mom to death. Okay. She likes me, or at least you've told me she likes me, and you want to put this around your mom's birthday. And more so, instead of this being a very serious conversation about us breaking up or you moving up, you're capitalizing on the fact that I couldn't make it to this trip. You're seeing it as a blessing. And I could tell you didn't want me there, so, I love you, but you.
I hear what you're saying, and I probably deserve that. I definitely.
Honestly, you deserve more than that. You can text me. You can reach out. You're gonna get yourself, but I don't want to see you. I don't want to see him. It's not going to be this sit down, nice hug, shake hand thing. Honestly, I really hope you're happy because you've taken it all from me.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it, and I'm sorry that it had to come out this way, but
nope, nothing to talk about. It's done.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Well, Paul, I'm sorry, man.
So sorry.
No, you know what? Y'all don't need to apologize. She's the only one that needs to apologize. Thank you. Like I said earlier, I was going to be embarrassed either way, but thank you for saving me a trip to go over there and embarrass myself. Obviously, I'm pissed off. This is ridiculous, but you know what? At least it's better than me flying over there, being around her family, to be the guy, the other man.
Don't be embarrassed, man. This sucks.
Yeah.
Well, whenever this happens, we always tell somebody there is someone out there for you, so don't give up hope, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not even thinking about that, right? I'm just pissed. This hurts. This honestly, it hurts. This hurts.
The Jubal Show's To Catch a Cheater.
I'm Jacob Goldstein. I used to host Planet Money. Now I'm starting a new show. It's called What's Your Problem? Every week on What's Your Problem, entrepreneurs and engineers describe the future they're going to build once they solve a few problems. I'm talking to people trying to figure out how to do things that no one on the planet knows how to do, from creating a drone delivery business to building a car that can truly drive itself. Listen to What's Your Problem on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Scott Barry Kaufman, host of the Psychology Podcast. I'm a cognitive scientist, and I've written 10 books and hundreds of articles on topics such as intelligence, introversion, and education. The Psychology Podcast is a place where we investigate the different ways in which we can unlock human potential, and where I get to interview some of the most extraordinary and fascinating people, and we have real conversations about what it means to achieve success and what it means to be human. Listen to the Psychology Podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey there, I'm Maya Shankar, and I'm a scientist who studies human behavior. Many of us have experienced a moment in our lives that changes everything, a moment that instantly divides our life into a before and an after. On my podcast, A Slight Change of Plans, I talk to people about how they've navigated exactly these moments. Because as we all know, the only constant is change. So let's make the most of it. Listen to A Slight Change of Plans on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.